Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Hi, guys.
We are doing our non-spoiler review for Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shah, the first spin-off in the Fast and Furious franchise. It's directed by David Leitch. It's starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jason Statham, Idris Elba, and Vanessa Kirby. I almost forgot somebody's name in that list for a second there. If you haven't seen a Fast and Furious film yet, man, you're in for a surprise. I mean, you know what you're getting from the commercial. Before you walk into the theater and sit your ass down, you know exactly what kind of film you're in for. And it's a lot of fun.
I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. The chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham was brilliant. And you know this already from the other Fast and Furious movies that they've been in together. Like, they are just hilarious. I love the constant put downs, the funny quips.
Yeah.
And I really liked Vanessa Kirby as well. I thought she had some great moments and she was a badass.
Right.
And there is a lot of badass action in this movie.
It's pretty high octane.
Yeah. From the start to the finish.
Right.
Like you told me to go get a drink and I was at the bar getting a drink and then Jaby sent me a text. He's like, the movie's starting. So I was like, oh, never mind. Let me just run back there. And I ran back and I was like, what the? I missed a minute and it's already like, boom, action from the get-go.
Right. No, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
start to finish.
There's a lot of great action throughout the film. I mean, that's what you're paying for, is the action and the laughs. Now, speaking of laughs, there are guest appearances in the film. I won't say by who, little cameos. And I was appreciative of one of those cameos. And actually, I should say two, because there's one lesser-known guy who, you know his face, you don't know his name usually.
Right.
And he's later in the movie. And I liked him and the one you see in the beginning. The one in the middle, I didn't like.
I didn't mind it.
I like him, his older stuff, but I didn't like what he brought to the movie. I just didn't think he was funny. And no one in the theater was laughing, so I wasn't the only one there. People were like, oh, yay, it's him. And it's not funny. And the film did feel a little bit long. Like, I think it was like 2 hours and 12 minutes. And around the 1 hour and 50 minute mark, I'm like, I think I'm good. I think this movie's ready to end for me. And it kept going for more action. I was like, okay, yeah. And it was one of those weird things where I felt like the movie was wrapping up, but because I'd seen the commercial a couple of times, I was like, no, there's this big scene that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for that. It was just a weird feeling where I felt like the movie was over, but that scene hadn't showed up yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. It did feel a little long, but overall, I had a really great time. I think this is the perfect summer movie. It's the one where you check your brain at the door, you buy some popcorn, you hang out with your friends, and you have a laugh, and you watch this cartoony, over-the-top action, which is just, like, some of the stuff, I was like, what is physics? That's okay, you know, cool.
That's part of Fast and Furious,
I'm into it. Yeah, it's always been that way with Fast and Furious, right? And there were some cool gadgets as well, like Idris Elba's motorcycle was so slick. It was so cool.
He's definitely a different kind of bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is taking it into real science fiction territory now. The kind of bad guy that he is. I mean, in one of the Fast and Furious films, I think it was Furious 8, or The Fate of the Furious. I think it was that film where they introduced the God's Eye, or maybe it was Furious 7.
I think it was 7.
Whichever film it was with Kurt Russell, they introduced the God's Eye. For some reason, I thought it was 8. Anyway.
They had it in 8 as well.
Okay. Like, that was starting to take things into a new level of interesting. And now you got a genetically cyber-enhanced soldier. And I saw another reviewer online, Chris Stuckman, going, I'm pretty sure they're going into space at some point. I mean, it does seem like, where else can you go?
Yeah, where to next?
Yeah. And I think that it would be really interesting if they tried to find a way to bring it all the way back down. Kind of like the Cloverfield sequel, where, you generally speaking, when you have a sequel, it's got to up the ante. It's got to go bigger. The Cloverfield sequel was very interesting to me because, I'm talking about the second one with John Goodman, it totally went way the opposite, where it was mostly one location for the entire film.
Right.
And I thought that was fascinating. And I think it would be cool if they tried to bring it back down to the street level somehow and made it an actual racing film again or something like that. Because it's like, it's just getting so big and like out of control, huge. I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm having guffaws. But the thing about it is, it would be nice if, since they're doing spin-offs anyway, it'd be nice to explore something that is more closer to ground level again. You know, just a thought.
But I think that they successfully up the ante every time, which is really hard considering like all the stunts and car stunts and action that they're doing. I feel like every time I watch a Fast and the Furious movie, there's some crazy stunt in there that I'm like, I didn't even think that was a possibility, but okay.
Right. You're right. There's some stuff you see in the trailer, like someone who's on a motorcycle. I'm not gonna say who, and you know they hop onto the side and they're skidding for a second, then hop back onto the motorcycle to go under a vehicle.
Yeah.
Or something. All that stuff is
It's
dope.
nuts.
You know, and it's very hard to tell between what is CGI and what is actual, practical. I mean,
job.
sometimes you can tell, obviously.
Yeah, sometimes.
But in a lot of instances, it's like you look at it and you're like, whoa, you're unsure, and it makes it feel like that more suspenseful.
Yeah, like you really get immersed in it. I also want to shout out my girl, Vanessa Kirby. I really appreciated that she got to be, a real badass in this. I thought she was a really cool character, Hattie. I liked her a lot. I thought she was a welcome addition to the family, as it were.
As cool as she was, my favorite female in the film was Helen Mirren.
Oh, yeah.
She brought her acting chops to the table and was just fun to watch. She's a fun person to look forward to. Overall, it's a fun movie. I strongly recommend it. I think you guys will have a blast between the action, the music, everything. It's a really cool, fun romp. Again, this is a check your brain at the door kind of thing. You're not looking for anything realistic, but even with that, I think it starts to push it a little bit. It did start to push it a little bit for me where I'm like, I'm suspending my disbelief, but goddamn. A little bit.
I don't know. I think the one where I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can, was in Fate of the Furious with the submarine.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay, wow, this is this is nuts. This is really
Well, that was
nuts.
the first one you saw too.
No, it wasn't.
The Fate of the Furious?
No, Fast and the Furious was the first one I saw.
You saw the first one?
Yeah, a long time when it first came out. And then I kind of like...
ACHARA is a professional liar because when I took you to watch Fate of the Furious.
You did.
And you said that was the very first one you'd ever seen.
No.
You're a professional liar.
I saw 1 to 3 and then I fell off the Fast and Furious train and then you were like, ACHARA, you were wrong. Let me show you why these movies are great. And then you showed me them from start to finish.
I don't remember any of this.
And
I don't remember any of this.
I enjoyed them.
I remember showing you all the movies, but I don't remember any of the things you said. I thought Fate of the Furious was the very first one you watched.
No.
Because I so remember being in the theater at the end of it and you being like, well, wow, that was my first Fast and Furious movie. I'm like, really?
I never said that.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of another broad. I don't know.
Jaby. How many girls did you take to go see that movie?
Just you.
Okay.
My voice going high pitched has nothing to do with me being truthful. This is a minor spoiler. I feel like we've gone far enough to the video that if you're still here, you most likely watched the film. So, minor spoiler, not a big spoiler. But at some point, you go to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's home island.
Yeah,
You know?
everyone knows.
You see that in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
The mom character I wanted to like.
But you didn't.
But I didn't get on board with her for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I
She's
wanted
so
to like her.
cute.
She was funny for when she took off her sandal. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
That was the only thing. But outside of that, I wasn't like really buying into it as much as I wanted to. That's it. That's all I want to say. I just want to complain about that real quick. Idris Elba. We didn't talk about him at all.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba. He was a great villain. I mean, that's to be expected. It's Idris Elba. I think he was really enjoying himself in that role.
It's hard for me to tell because I remember Idris Elba at one point talking about doing Thor, and it sounded like he hated having to do Thor. With every ounce of his body, he just felt like he what was the phrasing he used? I forgot, but it doesn't matter. What matters is it seemed like he was very unhappy with doing it. He took the job because he had to take the job, right? That's what I'm wondering about. Like, is he actually having fun now? Because he's like an actor, you know?
I don't know. I feel like his name's been put in the ring to be Bond, right? Which is sort of along that similar vein of kind of campy, slightly over the top spy fun. I mean, I guess with the Daniel Craig stuff, it's kind of been toned back a bit. But, you know, I bought him doing it. I totally buy him as Black Superman. He just oozes Black Superman sexiness.
I'm looking at a random article from Cinema Blend. Idris Elba is doing everything that he can to get kicked out of the Marvel's exclusive club, you know? I mean, that's just the start of it. Anyway, I'm just not gonna dive into that. I'm just saying, like, if for some reason he wasn't happy doing the Marvel stuff, and it's like, why? Why? That's so fun. I mean, anyway, you're from the outside looking in, you know, grass is greener kind of thing, but
yeah.
I want to be on that grass. I just wonder how much fun he genuinely had on this, or if he's just that good of an actor. Because it looked like he was having a lot of fun doing this role, is what I'm trying to say. You know, doing fight scenes and whatnot.
He's really badass.
Yeah. Idris Elba is just, you know, a kick-ass actor in general. My favorite role of his is still, I forgot what it's called. The African one on Netflix.
Oh, Beast of No Nation.
Beast of No Nation. That's still my favorite role that he's done so far. Like, just phenomenal acting.
Yeah, really good.
So, anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed this discussion. And check out ACHARA KIRK on the social media. Subscribe if you haven't done that. Check out our other reactions, reviews, short films, and vlogs. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.